Jerry here again. Can a literal dark horse candidate ride in to save a divided America? Well, I'm not being prejudicial, I'm not being racist by saying this, but I'm going to tell you in advance. Dark horse does have to do with the color of somebody's skin, a candidate running. But also, dark horse means a long shot out of the blue that could come and win. As the 2024 elections loom, America is at the crossroads with the possibility of choosing between President Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It's a binary choice. They think, oh, it's going to be one or the other. Any way you look at it, it looks like maybe Ron DeSantis will come ahead, or maybe that Indian fellow will, whatever. But bottom line is, it looks like it's a binary choice again. Not everybody likes it. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. But what we do need is inclusivity in these debates. First presidential debate requires 40,000 donors per candidate to qualify for the debate. Now, that doesn't seem fair. How do we ever know who a good candidate is unless they've got that minimum threshold? Now, of course, it'd be wonderful to have Trump over Biden any day of the week. But what if there's somebody else in there that needs to be heard? Maybe Trump still wins, but we want to hear the positions of other people. Maybe some of the other positions could nudge Trump even farther to the right. Is it possible? It is possible. Let's look. With the nations divided more than ever, there's a palpable yearning for an alternative voice. Enter Larry Elder, a dark horse candidate because he's black. And he might win, or he might come in and be a vice presidential candidate later, but at least he could get people to see where he stands in the issues. And let me tell you something, there is no more conservative candidate I could think of out there, even more conservative than Donald Trump. Wonderful to see Donald Trump put him as a vice presidential candidate. Orange man plus black man equals victory. Unless you want to see him take Mike Pence again. But Larry Elder's journey is so far from guaranteed. The current political landscape and established rules are steeped in challenges, especially for outsiders like Larry Elder. Larry Elder is a respected writer, commentator. You've probably heard his talk show before. It's, I think, all 50 states, coast to coast. He's finally referred to as a sage from South Central. Deep-rooted insights into America's multifaceted struggles. He was born and bred in a challenging area of LA, and his beliefs have been, um, well, when he was younger, I'm sure his beliefs were forged by some of the black leaders of the day. But overall, and as he matured and he understood things and he understood what really worked, what didn't work, he became a staunch conservative. His experiences led towards that. His political vision for America is revolutionary. Imagine a nation without an internal revenue service. Again, by virtue of the fact that he's running, means that maybe Donald Trump will pick up some of these tickets, these topics, these political platforms. And if, heaven forbid, Donald Trump was to get out of the race for whatever reason, being behind bars or whatever, it's nice to have a spare tire in the trunk, is it not? Larry Elder also wants to replace the current taxation with a national sales tax. Forget the IRS, have a national sales tax. So if you buy something, you pay something on it. If you don't, you don't. So the poor are not discriminated against. If the poor don't have much money to spend, guess what? They pay less taxes because they consume less stuff. And he wants an 80% reduction in government and to welfare entitlements, etc. So if somebody is poor or doesn't want to work or whatever, and they're only spending this much, that's all they pay taxes on is that much. If somebody want to work their butt off instead of supporting all these liberal programs and stuff in Washington, they can work their butt off to buy more stuff and pay more taxes, and that's okay. Larry Elder's faith in the free market is further highlighted by his proposals to eradicate the minimum wage and corporate taxes. Oh no, no minimum wage? I mean, what if you want to pay somebody $5 an hour? So be it. If they don't want to work at $5 an hour, go work for the guy up the road for $6 an hour, or $70 an hour, or $1,000 an hour. No limit, no high, no low. Let water seek its own course. No corporate taxes, no IRS. Imagine how our economy would turn around. Now, socially, Larry Elder opposes abortion, but he also believes in states' rights. So ultimately, he would encourage the states to do the right thing to eliminate abortion, but it is states' rights per the Constitution, he believes. Now, with the first presidential debate having a threshold, as I mentioned, of 40,000 donors. And they also have 1% in certain polls. It has to be one of the big polls with 800 or more people polled. His participation in this, or anybody else's participation in this, is no small feat. I just went and donated $10. I mean, I was going to donate $1, but I went to a site and I filled out all the stuff, my name, address, credit card number. I thought, why not make it 10 instead of $1? But I would suggest taking one candidate like Larry Elder, or maybe 10 candidates, and donate $1 each. See the debate with more people, hear more political views expressed, and maybe the ultimate victor from the GOP would adopt some of these policies that ordinarily wouldn't have otherwise. So do it for inclusivity. And if you want racial inclusivity, Larry Elder's black. With the first Republican debate coming up, I would say watch it, decide who you want as a candidate. You probably want Trump. I still like Trump, but I like to hear what the other candidates have to say. And the more I hear about Larry Elder, the more interested I am. Supporting Elder's candidacy is more than a political decision. It's a stand for inclusivity, as we mentioned, and it brings everybody to the table. Now, it's possible that a guy like Larry Elder could bring a swing vote back into the Republican Party. He maybe could talk about Margaret Sanger, how she started the Negro Project to exterminate the black race. Well, back then it said Negro race. And she's, what they called that effort afterwards? They changed the name to a company called, oh yeah, what's the organization's name? Planned Parenthood. I like to call it Planned Baronhood because they target more blacks than anything else. Still in the inner city areas, high black populations. You better believe there's a Planned Parenthood there, and an abortionist all ready to and willing and able to murder those black preborn children. Very sad indeed. Now, Larry Elder represents more than political aspirations. He symbolizes unity, progress, and a potential bridge across gaping divides in contemporary America. The political climate calls for a deviation from the usual Trump Biden tug of war. And it gets old. I've gone to Trump rallies. He says the same thing each time, pretty much. I like him. I like what he has to say, but let some other people talk too. Ultimately, Trump could win. That'd be great. If for some reason he's out of the picture, you'll be glad you had somebody like Larry Elder in there as a spare tire. Larry Elder has grounded policies, calm demeanor. He doesn't trash other Republicans. In fact, he's the only Republican I can think of out there that has not broken Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment: speak no ill against your fellow Republicans. Now, it's hard when you think about Chris Christie or Mike Pence. You got to hold your nose and not speak ill of them. But ultimately, what Ronald Reagan said makes sense. Save your firepower for the liberals. Just criticize Biden and his ilk up and down and all around, because everybody on the Democratic side is worse than everybody on the Republican side. There's not one Republican that is worse than any of the Democrats, with the exception of save one, possibly RFK. Robert Kennedy Jr., I don't know where he stands completely on the issues. Unfortunately, he still is for abortion, so that is a deal killer for me. But apart from that, man, I'd be tempted to vote for him, especially if I were a Democrat. Now, skeptics will always be present. They'll say Larry Elder is not immune to criticism, and yet, by weighing his life's journey, his values, his vision, has he's not just an alternative, but he's a potential beacon for change or a great presidential candidate. In 2024, it's about forging a fresh path and rallying behind shared goals and a core in traditional moral American beliefs. Larry Elder not only deserves to be in the race, but should well lead it or co-lead it with Trump. His unique blend of experience and vision might be the exact leadership America craves at this critical juncture. He's been very supportive of Donald Trump. He's not critical of Donald Trump. So let him run, let him talk, let him share the stage, because Donald Trump's not going to be there. He at least, most likely, will boycott the debate. So let Larry sing the praises of Donald Trump while he toots his own horn a little bit. So, in closing, can a literal dark horse candidate ride in to save a divided nation? The answer is a resounding yes, but it requires our collective action, beginning with inclusive debates. If you want to learn more about Larry Elder, he's at LarryElder.com, LarryElder.com. By the way, as a little PS here, Larry Elder was a top vote getter in Los Angeles in the Gavin Newsom recall election out of all the other candidates. So it shows he's viable, very viable. Thank you. Been an enjoyment as usual. Talk to you next time. Jerry signing.